All right, I know what you're probably thinking about this week. Turkey, stuffing, maybe some football. But what if I told you that you could use this week to save yourself a ton of money and stress? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're diving into some fantastic year-end tax advice that can make this coming tax season way smoother and, yes, cheaper.
You know, the experts over at Blacking Tax Services who helped us put this together have the perfect analogy. Think about it. Prepping for your taxes now is just like prepping for that big Thanksgiving meal. The more you do up front, the chopping, the organizing, the less chaotic things are when it's go time. A little bit of work now saves you a massive headache later. So let's get into our first tip.
First up, this one's for a group that definitely knows a thing or two about complexity. All you crypto traders out there. If you've been active in the market this year, you're going to want to listen to this.
Does this look familiar? A just jumbled mess of swaps, staking rewards, airdrops, you name it. Here's the thing you have to remember. Every single one of those transactions is a taxable event that the IRS needs to know about. And when you've got hundreds, or let's be real, sometimes thousands of them, trying to untangle that mess at the last minute is an absolute nightmare.
So the key is to act now. Here's your game plan, and it's simpler than it sounds. Step 1. Pull all your transaction data from every single exchange and wallet into one spot. Step 2. Get it organized and categorized. And Step 3. Use software to generate that all-important tax document, your Form 8949. And if you're thinking, is it really that big of a deal? Just look at this. This isn't some made-up story. This is a real client who had over 3,000 transactions. They waited until February, and it created such a logjam that it delayed their entire tax filing. Getting this done now gives you and your tax pro some serious peace of mind. Okay, moving on to tip number 2. This one's for all the self-employed folks out there, the freelancers, the consultants, the small business owners. This is for you.
Now, here is a strategy that is seriously powerful. You can actually lower your taxable income for this year by speeding up your deductions. Think about it. Any necessary expenses you have coming up, like software renewals, professional courses, maybe some marketing services, if you pay for them before December 31st, you get to deduct them on this year's return.
And the impact? Oh, it can be huge. Check out this number, $2,100. That's how much a freelancer saved on their tax bill just by strategically prepaying for 6 months of software and buying a ticket to a conference that was happening in January. That is real money back in your pocket, all for planning ahead. Okay, you need to listen up because this next tip is incredibly time-sensitive. It's for anyone who might be behind on filing a tax return from a previous year. If that's you, you really need to hear this. So here's the deal. Every single year, like clockwork, the IRS temporarily shuts down its electronic filing system for older returns so they can get ready for the new tax season. And that shutdown, it happens at the end of November. We are literally talking days away. This timeline lays it all out pretty clearly. Right now, that window to e-file is wide open, but very, very soon it's going to freeze solid, and it won't open back up until late January. So, if you're owed a refund from a past year and you wait, that money is just stuck in limbo for months.
And the stakes are no joke. This client we heard about just barely e-filed before last year's freeze. If they had waited just a couple more weeks, the IRS could have legally kept their entire 2022 refund to pay off other debts. Acting now is absolutely critical.
All right, our final tip is for anyone out there who's planning a major purchase before the end of the year, whether that's for your business or for yourself.
So, are you thinking about buying an electric vehicle or maybe picking up some new equipment for your business? If that's you, you've got to know that some of the most valuable tax credits out there are tied to some very strict year-end deadlines.
Just look at that number, $7,500. That's the EV tax credit a client managed to lock in. And the key was how they did it. They signed a binding purchase contract before the deadline, even though the car itself wasn't actually delivered for another 3 months.
And that is the whole point. For many of these big-ticket credits, what matters isn't when you take delivery of the item, it's about when you formally commit to the purchase. If you wait until the last second, you could miss out entirely, just because you didn't start the process early enough.
So, after covering all that ground, what's the big picture here? Well, it's all about turning a season that's usually full of stress into one that's all about smart, proactive planning. Let's do a super quick recap. For my crypto traders, organize your transactions now. For the self-employed, prepay those business expenses. If you're behind on filing, get it done before that IRS system freezes. And for the big purchasers, act early to lock in those credits. See, Each one of these steps puts you back in the driver's seat.
So ultimately, this is what it all comes down to. Tax prep isn't something that just has to happen to you. It's about making a choice. By using this time right now, you are setting yourself up for an easier and, yeah, a much more profitable April. So the real question is, what move are you going to make this week?